Hey guys, Marty here. So today I set up a new Elder Ring. I wanted to do an updated video on YouTube as my old video. Like I said in it, this is just using the knowledge I had to date. Now I have spent a few more days playing around with an Elder Ring. I actually managed to break my ring, which took roughly 1100 maps, possibly more than that, but definitely not below 1100. It took a lot of mapping to remove it. But it did finally go away, and I mean, I said in the video, it was not a safe ring. But now I have discovered how to make rings 100% foolproof. Here's my current new ring. I set it up today. I'm currently uploading a video. It's about 4 hours long. It's the process from start to finish that I used to create this ring that you're seeing right here. And let me explain why this ring is unbreakable. So to review, the rules that we need for an Elder ring are Elder can only take up to 30 maps under his influence, and Elder must always be connected to his guardians. So what's different about this ring from last ring? This ring is also a one map gap ring. My previous ring was a one map gap ring. However, my previous ring, which you can see in the video, I'll link it down in the description below, it was not a 30 map line. So my previous ring reached from Spider Forest to Vol Pyramid all the way around the map. I hit all my shape maps. Um, and there was a gap between Shipyard and Vol Pyramid of one map, estuary. But it was 29 maps total. And so I had one floater map, which was in Arachnid Tomb at the time. I moved it around a little bit. Um, it started, moving on its own, of course, because it was a loose map. So whenever Shaper chooses to attack that map can go anywhere. And if that map had gone to estuary, which it eventually did, while I'm running one of my maps that's not necessary for a link, such as Armory, which is the map that actually ended up breaking it, um, then Shaper can take over estuary, and in the same tick you lose Armory. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you break your ring. You can still protect the ring by immediately afterwards remove or whatchamacallit, getting Armory back so that the ring is complete, which is what I did. So I had the full ring still, and then removing estuary. But when you take Armory, Shaper can your map is still vulnerable, so Shaper can attack somewhere on your ring over here or on your ring over here, and you lose that wing. And that is exactly what happened. We lost our right side of the wing, so it was gone. But I knew that was eventually going to happen. That was a risk that I took by doing a one map gap ring of 29 maps. And I've now figured out a method that is infallible. So the way this works is with my current ring, it's 29 maps in the line, as you can see, and my extra map is on Dungeon. Dungeon is in the corner, and Shaper cannot attack corners. As you can see, there's no connected maps with Shaper. The maps that Shaper can attack are from Maze. He can attack to Grotto. He can attack to Underground Sea. From all of these Shaper maps, he can attack the Elder. He cannot, however, attack Dungeon because, like I said, there's nothing connected to it. So this makes this ring 100% foolproof. The only possible way to lose this ring is if I run Dungeon. And come on, guys, why the hell would I ever run Dungeon? Let's be real here. So I have some information for you guys and some pictures of setting up this ring. I also have the video, like I mentioned, which will also be uploaded on the channel if you want to see the entire process from start to finish. It's just a recording for my Twitch. It's 4 hours long. But anyway, so here are some pictures. So this was my initial Elder spawn. And you can see how I had the maps arranged when I spawned it. The last map that I took was Maze. So that means I had 19 maps controlled in this little area here. And what I've done here, Curse Crypt actually went away. Or maybe I removed Curse Crypt. I don't remember. Anyways, the point is, I created the biggest cluster at the top of the map. So a rule to how Elder will spawn is that Elder usually, okay, all of it's RNG, but generally speaking, Elder targets the biggest cluster of maps. So if I had a big grouping of maps, I had all of these here taken, Elder would often spawn here, even though Elder is biased towards high tier maps. So what my goal was when I was spawning Elder was to create the biggest cluster at the top of my map. And I'm pretty sure that this cursed crypt actually appeared after my Elder had spawned. So I had this controlled by Elder, but I don't remember. I mean, you can watch the video if you would like to, and you can figure that out. But anyway, so I created the biggest cluster up here. And the reason I was aiming for up here is because you can see this is like a very thin line. So this was my best chance at getting a 2-map gap Elder. Unfortunately, I didn't get a 2-map gap Elder. I got the single map, and so we had to clear that out. And I was calculating how to how to make this work. And I actually got really excited initially because I realized that I could connect 30 maps, go through everything I wanted, and it would go back and forth. But that doesn't work because that would be an exactly 30 map line, and when you need 31 maps to create a 30 map line, because when you're moving that final map into place, you can't get rid of it because it connects the line, right? So it's impossible. So you need a 29 map line that uses the corners, or you need a 2-map gap. If you have a 2-map gap, then you have the freedom of you can utilize that extra space. But we didn't get that luxury, so I needed to calculate new pathings for my my maps. And so let me find this right here. Okay, so as you can see here, I calculated out a bunch of different possibilities. So like I explained earlier with the corner thing, that's what we were looking into. So I created a possibility that hit as many of the maps that I wanted for each corner. And this website I'm using, you can see at the top here, atlas.poekit.net. This is an extremely valuable tool, in my opinion, for setting up Atlas. So the relevant things here are the blue maps, the maps with the blue circle. It's a little bit hard to see, but those are the maps that I'm Elder influencing. And the way I've created this is I turned on the multi-select here, and I simply just clicked on the maps that I was looking to influence. The green maps mean nothing. This is all sextant related. This is all old information. Red maps, orange maps mean nothing. All you need to pay attention to are the blue maps. So I went through, you can just click a map on and off like that. I looked at a bunch of different pathings that I could take. This was one that I considered using the bottom right corner. This is a 30 map setup, which uses Pen and Lookout as the free maps. So you can use Pen and Lookout to help assist in creating your ring. The reason I didn't go for this map is because this setup was I wasn't able to get Underground Sea to be permanently influenced. And Underground Sea is probably my favorite map this entire league. It's amazing. The alchemy sustain in there is god tier. The map sustain is great because it's got a really high mob count. The boss is pretty easy, and it's just got an insane amount of mobs. And I couldn't get Armory, which is kind of the same situation. Armory has the issue of no crazy div card or anything, but it's just a super solid map, pretty good layout, high mob count, everything you could ask for in a map. And there's a chest at the end that drops a lot of maps. And because I couldn't get those, I was looking at other options. So with this particular setup, my plan was to do Shaped Thicket and Shaped Infested Valley. I chose not to do this because, first of all, Infested Valley boss is extremely scary, and I didn't want to die to it. But for anyone who does do Shaped Infested Valley, this is an example of an Elder Ring that would allow you to have Shaped Infested Valley as permanently Elder influence. There's a bunch of other maps on here. You get your Waste Pool, you get your Haunted Mansion, you get your Tribunal, etc., etc. You can tweak this. There's a bunch of different ways, depending on your spawn. It's just a matter of looking into how you want to set up your ring, and there's a ton of different options. So that one, we decided to scratch that. Here's another one that we were considering. This utilizes the top right part of the atlas. So we filled out this entire top right section, and the only places that Elder can attack are necessary connectors. So Spider Lair is a necessary connector, so Elder can't take that. This setup was looking pretty nice because it allows us to do tier 15 Belfries with permanent Elder influence, which is great, but the boss is kind of it has a lot of phases and it hits really hard, and I didn't really feel like doing that map because I like to roll really, really dangerous maps. And also I like to roll maps with like elemental equilibrium, elemental resistances, and like 60% monster life. So doing that boss with that kind of mods is just going to be a pain in the ass. So I chose not to use this one, but this setup looked pretty good too. We would do Belfry, Waste Pool, get the Tribunal in there, Haunted Mansion, Thicket. You know, it had pretty good options here. Shaped Dunes was also what I was looking at here. But I chose not to do this one, mainly because the tier 8 options were weak. We would have had to do Shore, most likely, as our tier 8. The other options, Vol Pyramid, Mud Geyser, they're not very good. The other option was to run Armory just with no influence, and I didn't really want to do that because, I mean, if I can exploit this Elder Ring, why not, right? So we scratched that one, and then we looked at this one. This is a Elder Ring that utilizes the bottom left corner. So the only places that can be attacked in this ring are Toxic Sewer, which is a necessary point, Barrows, which is a necessary point, Phantasmagoria, which is necessary, and then your single file the rest of the way. So this ring would have been completely safe. I'm actually not going to close these windows. I'll put the links to them in the I'll screenshot them and put links to them in the description. So if you guys want to look at them, you're welcome to. I'll set them back up again. But anyways, so this particular ring, this was actually hitting Underground Sea. This was one of our options we considered. Hits Underground Sea, hits Armory, so we get those two maps in. It didn't hit Tribunal, which was a really big downside for me. It also didn't hit Waste Pool, which is the main reason why I said no to this ring. My plan with this ring was to either run Tribunal with with Shaper influence, or to run Resonance with permanent Elder influence, or Dunes with permanent Elder influence. I chose not to do this because losing out on Waste Pool influence is just so painful. I don't think I can justify that. So we said screw it to those, and we went with my current ring, utilizing the top left corner, Dungeon. Hits almost every single map I want. Unfortunately, I can't do Tribunal with Elder influence, but I might end up later switching this back to Shape Tribunal and just doing it with Shaper influence, something I've been testing today, which Carvarustu brought to my attention. I'll link his Twitch in the description of the video, but what I've been doing is I run Armory at the same time as running my Underground Seas. So what I do is I run Armory, it's Shaper influence, then I run Underground Sea, because Armory is no longer Shaper influenced. When I run Underground Sea, it resets the Shaper influence on Armory. So every single Armory I run is always Shaper influenced, and Shaper influence doesn't have quite as many mobs as Elder influence. You get a little bit less drops, but the Shaper influence scepters and other items tend to sell quite well. So I've been doing that. It's pretty good money, hopefully, in the long term. Plus, it gives me a reason to run my armories. If I decide that that's too tedious, I can always shape a Mud Geyser, Tropical, or Shore for a tier 13, and that'll work just fine. And like I said, I might consider doing Tribunal with the rotating shaper. We'll just have to wait and see, but that is a pretty good option, and it's been working out very well for me so far. So yeah, that's that stuff about this ring. So let me show you some of the stages we went through while we were setting up this ring. So this is immediately after setting up my ring. You can see the directions I'm expanding in. So I moved this one down slightly to here, and then I was working this one to here. And then from this point, I'm just counting the amount of maps that we have available, as well as counting the maps that we currently have, counting the amount of maps that we have influenced, and counting the amount of maps that we have to go. So in this particular screenshot, I lost the screenshot, guys. Oh, here we go. So in this particular screenshot, we have 3, 6, 9, 15, 18, 19, 21, 24 maps influenced. And to connect, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maps. So I realized I don't even need to clear off any Elder right now. I just need to blast towards connection. So, I'm running the Shaper map here to connect faster. When I run this map, it'll drag Elder from here into there. Shaper can attack somewhere and reset my influence. And that happened once or twice while I was setting this up. But, that's inevitable. There's not too much you can do about that. Um, so that becomes Elder influenced, and I move forward. Something I want you guys to note is, as you can see, when I'm setting up this ring, even though my final ring looks like this, a really big ring, I'm intentionally doing as short of a ring as possible. This particular ring is 20 maps to connect the ring. And this is super important because the more maps you try and fit into your initial ring, the more times you're going to get reset. So, this is a very important thing to do as you're progressing your ring. So the next set that I did, this is the next step. See, this was the final map that we had to connect. You can see where I've progressed. I pushed through here and I pushed through here, and we get to one map away. And so at this point, you've done it. You're not 100% safe, but when we run this map, it will become Elder Influence. So Shaper can attack somewhere, but Shaper can only cut off one map at this point. So for example, say we take this map, Tropical Island, and Shaper attacks Mud Geyser. Well, that doesn't matter because we don't lose any of our ring because we're still connected through here. So then we would just run Mud Geyser and say Shaper attacks Thicket. Doesn't matter. We now have Elder Influence here. We can run Thicket, and eventually you'll get the ring fully connected, and then we were on to the next step, which you can see right here. I cleared out the Guardian in Temple so that we now have a disconnected ring. And at this point, you've done it. Our ring can no longer be disconnected. The only way we can lose our ring at this point is if Elder takes Temple and we don't take it back immediately. So from here, it's just a matter of nursing your ring outward. Unfortunately, I forgot to take screenshots at this point because I was so excited about having the ring so fast. But that's just a matter of doing a process like this. So you count the amount of maps on your atlas. You get it below 30, so you remove an extra map, such as Maze is an extra map right now. Underground Sea is an extra map right now. These ones over here, they're extra maps. So I think the particular one that I did was I removed Underground Sea because it doubles up. It removes Maze and Underground Sea, giving us 2 more Elder maps to move. And if Elder spawns on Temple at this point, it's extremely important to remove him off of Temple. After that, you then try and move them to Vault and Overgrown Ruin. Then you remove the new extra maps, Sepulcher and Orchard. And then we're trying to move it to, what's this map? Ramparts and Armory and Lava Chamber, so that we can cut out Vaults and Vaults now, and Geode. And then our ring now goes out like that. And then you're just slowly carving outward, kind of like peeling an onion. You're just kind of like slowly expanding your Elder ring until you can hit the final product. And the reason this works is because of this corner method that I was talking about, where Dungeon is the final map we ever put in, and because of that, it gives us the freedom to use one map to maneuver our ring around. We can expand it, we can shrink it with that one extra map. So the final product here that you guys are witnessing is what you get, and it only took me 4 hours this time. Once you know what you're doing, guys, this stuff goes very quickly. And the main thing that I recommend if you're going to do this is make sure you have a very large map pool of the specific maps that you need for your ring. So for me, I purchased a ton of temples, moon temples, mineral pools, underground rivers. Well, I had a lot of underground rivers, but like the general maps around this area where you're trying to expand Elder initially, because it's so annoying when you're so close and then you have to go buy a map and then you have to go buy another map. So just buy 10, 15, 20 maps of each type that you need up here. You probably will have a lot of low maps already. And so, yeah, you go out there, you buy the maps, and you're good to go. And it just occurred to me that when I was explaining this version, a little bit was blocked by my map, or my camera. And so I'm sorry about that, guys, but, I'm not a professional YouTuber yet. I've only been doing this a little while, guys, so bear with me. Hopefully I'll have production quality eventually. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy it. If you have any questions, oh, there's one more thing I almost forgot to bring up. So in the previous video, I mentioned a permanent burial chamber setup, and I was wrong about it. I want you guys to see this. So this is an example given by Karv, the same person who brought the corner method to my attention. I was aware of the corner method, but I wasn't fully looking into it until mentioned. He showed me this. This is actually not a successful permanent burial chambers. It's close, but not quite there. And so a YouTube commenter on my channel actually brought this to my attention. The reason this isn't, oh, sorry, and this particular YouTube commenter is Alexis Mitchell. I don't know if they want their name in there, but sorry, you're in there. So the reason this isn't safe is channel and gorge are vulnerable maps because we've connected through sulfur vents, volcano, ley line, flooded mine, excavation, grotto, a maze. That is the shortest possible path, which means that channel and gorge are vulnerable. So that means Shaper at Atoll can attack channel. Oh, I guess gorge is not vulnerable, but channel is vulnerable. So this setup does not work because channel can go away. But that being said, this is still probably your best bet at a permanent burial chamber setup. For all the people who want to know about that, that's one of the most common questions I get. Here you go, guys. It is in this video. Do with it as you will. And so anyways, guys, just as some final notes, I just really recommend if you want to set up a permanent elder ring, it's super simple. Just, hop on PoE kit. I'm going to, do this. You just sort of zoom in on it a little bit. You click where your guardian and your elder are. So in my case, Courtyard Moon Temple. And then you just expand your way out. You initially try and find the path of least resistance. So you know exactly how few maps you can take. So in this case, I'm going to do the corner method down here. So this is our path of least resistance because we know that we want to set it up with a corner. So then, you get to this, you count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So now we know that we have 5 extra maps that we can maneuver around. So we want to figure out how do we go from this to using 5 more maps. And you want to include the maps that you're interested in particular. So then you go like this, you remove these. And the main reason I think this tool is so useful is because, like you can see, I'm removing things and I can visually see it again. I can then count it again. You could also do this with some sort of an image editing tool, but I just find this tool so useful. You can zoom so easily. You can then change anything you want, and I highly recommend that you guys check this stuff out and set it up for yourself. And maybe you can end up with a great ring like this one. And for just an added note, this ring also hits volcano. So volcano is a super popular MF map, and it's perfectly guaranteed on here. I realize this video is pretty long, guys. It's a little bit longer than my last one, but I've given as much detail as I can. Let me just double check my notes, make sure I didn't miss any of the things I was trying to put in here. Oh, perfect. Okay, so I should have mentioned this earlier, guys, but so there is a way that you can manipulate where your initial elder influence spawns. So what I mean by that is, okay, I've closed the images, unfortunately. Actually, I can open them up again. So your initial elder influence, meaning not this part. This is where elder himself had just spawned. When I say your initial elder influence, I mean when you have 0 elder maps on the map, how does your elder spawn? Well, there's one mechanic that guarantees it. The tier of map that you were running when elder initially appears on the atlas will always be the same tier as whatever you're running. So what this means is when I didn't have any elder on the map yet, I was just running relic chambers, which is a tier 4, because I know there's a lot of tier 4s in the area where I wanted it to spawn. And elder spawned on Strand, Ancient City, and Fields. From there, I'm able to slowly maneuver him outward. And the way elder moves is anytime you run any map period, it ticks the atlas forward 1 turn. So after you run a bunch of just junk maps, like you can just run Graveyard, it's really fast, or Lookout, or whatever map you like. Just run a bunch of those once you have your Elder spawn until you start getting these Shaper maps that are connected to Elder. Then when you run those Shaper maps, you can spread them in whatever direction you want. So that's a very important thing to remember. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else, and then I'll let you guys go. Yep, that's everything as far as my notes at least. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out this time. I'm trying to be as thorough as I possibly can. I hope you guys appreciate the video. I hope it helps you all. If you guys get successful rings set up, feel free to link them to me in my chat. I love seeing the rings people come up with. It's inspiration for rings of my own. And also, if you currently have an Elder Ring, don't feel like you need to abandon it because you're using the old method I had. You can adjust your ring and keep your Elder spawn if it's a successful spawn, and just do a corner method. So don't dumpster your ring just because it doesn't follow this corner method right now. You can still use it, just figure out some different pathing, and check the many different options you have before you get rid of your ring. Yeah, anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoy it. I apologize for the length, and if you have questions, check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MartyPoe. I'll put the link in the description below. Feel free to hop in my Discord and ask me questions. I do a lot of looking at people's Elder Rings and seeing if they're compatible, seeing if there's a possibility. I'm not going to do the entire process for you or anything, but I'll at least check them and see if it looks good. I'll happily look at your finished Elder Rings and everything, and yeah, thank you so much. Follow me on Twitch, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoy it, dislike it if you don't. I'll be throwing this up on Reddit, so hopefully we can reach as massive as an audience as possible, get everyone learning about these Elder Rings. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in my stream. Thank you so much. Have a good night.